After Nicole Thornhill was faced with becoming a teen mother, 48-year-old Gerald Jerry Jensen and his wife, Kristen Jensen, welcomed Thornhill, Kristen's daughter, and her boyfriend, Christopher Tomlinson, into their home. But instead of repaying them with gratitude, Thornhill and Tomlinson hatched a plot to try and kill the couple, who had both been struggling with substance abuse for years. According to Nicole and Chris' beliefs, anyone who used drugs was not a good person and couldn't be around them, and they also didn't want them around the baby. Dr. Brianna Fox, professor of criminology, said on Snapped, airing Sundays at June 5 C on Oxygen. The dangerous plot ended in a gruesome murder when Tomlinson stabbed Jerry with a samurai sword. The way that both Chris and Nicole felt that they had been impacted as children with parents leaving, that's what they did to their own child, Fox said. Their baby's life is now essentially changed forever. What led up to Gerald Jensen's brutal murder in his Florida home? Nicole Thornhill had a difficult childhood. Her mother, Kristen, struggled with substance abuse. Nicole hadn't grown up with her mother. As a matter of fact, Kristen's addiction issues led her to be estranged from Nicole for a large part of her childhood. Eventually, Child Protective Services placed Thornhill and her sister, Sarah, with their father full-time. Growing up, things were very chaotic, Sarah Thornhill said on Snapped. I was young enough that I didn't really understand what was going on. But my sister did. She didn't get to live with my mom for very long. When Thornhill was 18, her father lost their home, and she moved in with Kristen and her stepfather, Jerry Jensen. She met Chris Tomlinson on a social networking website called DeviantArt. He was stationed in Germany in the army. When he returned, the two met for the first time in person, and moved to California together. But Thornhill soon got pregnant, and the couple ran out of money. Kristen and Jerry welcomed them back to their Stuart, Florida home. 6 weeks after their baby was born in March 2008, Kristen relapsed and went to a drug rehab center. Kristen and Jerry had been under a lot of stress, Fox said. And this stress was mostly caused by Nicole's boyfriend, Chris Tomlinson, who had just moved in with them. Jerry told his friend, Kevin, that Chris was unemployed. He wasn't really making an effort to take care of Nicole or the baby as a father. Kevin actually felt that all the stress with Chris is what actually led to Kristen's relapse. Kristen Jensen also blamed Tomlinson for the family's stress in interviews with police, calling him a lazy, inconsiderate brat. Chris didn't do anything, Sarah Thornhill said. He wouldn't get a job. He sat and played video games all day. And every time my mom would nag Chris, my sister would go to Chris' defense. Kristen told police Tomlinson and Jerry's disagreements put a wedge in his relationship with his stepdaughter. She was calling Jerry Dad, and things were just great, Kristen said to police. Then all of a sudden, Chris shows up. Yeah, she doesn't want to call him Dad anymore. Tomlinson and Thornhill also disagreed with Kristen and Jerry about religion. Jerry couldn't understand their Wiccan lifestyle, Durrett said. They really couldn't get through to him. On April 21, 2008, just after 8 p.m., Kristen Jensen called police, concerned because her husband was missing. She had just returned home after 4 days in a detox hospital to find Thornhill, Tomlinson, and their newborn baby home, but Jerry gone. He had failed to pick her up from the hospital, after promising to do so on April 20th. Thornhill and Tomlinson's explanation was Jerry had gotten into a fight with someone on the phone the previous night, and they took their baby to the library. When they came home, they said he was gone. But Jerry Jensen's phone, car keys, and car were all still at home. The bathroom door was missing, and a comforter was missing from a bed. And Kristen noticed a strong smell of bleach in the bathroom. After police put out missing person posters, Palm Beach County detectives called when they discovered a body matching Jerry's description in a landfill. Fingerprint analysis confirmed the body belonged to Jerry Jensen. He had been stabbed multiple times, and his throat was slit. Why did Nicole Thornhill and Chris Tomlinson kill Jerry Jensen? When Stewart police looked into Jerry Jensen's phone records, they discovered he wasn't on the phone the night he disappeared, as Nicole Thornhill and Chris Tomlinson claimed. When officers confronted Thornhill with this information, she confessed everything. She claimed she and her boyfriend didn't want to raise their child in a home with drugs, and admitted to plotting to kill her mother and stepfather for 2 months. I mentioned knocking him out with sleeping pills, making it look like a suicide because they both do so much drugs, Thornhill said to police. So, we went to Walmart and he bought some of those weird generic sleeping pills. When the pills didn't work, Thornhill said she and her boyfriend developed a new plan. The plan was that Chris and Nicole were going to surprise him and Chris was going to attack him with a samurai sword that he kept in the house, Fox said. Thornhill claimed she took the baby outside for a walk while her boyfriend killed her stepfather. Tomlinson said he came out of the room with a sword, confronted him, stabbed him in the front, prosecutor Aaron Kirkwood said on Snapped. That had to be a terrifying way to die. Knowing that someone's coming at you with a sword in a confined space. He didn't deserve that. Thornhill admitted she helped her boyfriend wrap Jerry's body up in a tarp and bed comforter and throw it in a dumpster. Police found a sword under a bed at the apartment, with traces of blood on it. But they also found tequila and milk bottles with traces of sleeping pills, and a Walmart receipt showing sleeping pills bought the day after Jerry was murdered. Thornhill then confessed to trying to kill her mother as well. I wanted to do the sleeping pills because she had just done it so many times before, trying to kill herself, Thornhill said in police interviews. She tried to do it in front of me. I can't stand her anymore. After denying being involved in the murder, Tomlinson then admitted there was a fight between him and Jerry, but claimed it was self-defense. I asked him how he felt about Gerald, Stewart Police Detective Jaylee Porcelli said on Snapped. He didn't like the way Gerald acted, by yelling and fighting and drinking and drugs. He told me that he was a Wiccan high priest. He believed that he could see auras around people. And he did not think that people with a bad aura should be allowed to live in the same world as his child. In May 2010, a jury found Tomlinson guilty of murder and other charges, and he was sentenced to life in prison, plus 60 years. Christopher to this day still has not told me in his words why, Christine Troughton, Tomlinson's mother, said on Snapped. And I look at Christopher. You could have had all of this. But you got involved with Nicole. And the army messed you up. So, all of those combined, he snapped. And he can never come back from it. Thornhill later argued she only plotted and helped dispose of the body because Tomlinson forced her to do so, but she eventually took a plea deal, and was sentenced to 50 years in prison. Despite plotting to murder her, her mother asked the judge for leniency at Thornhill's sentencing. Nicole finally got to have the relationship with my mom that she always wanted, Sarah Thornhill said. And vice versa. My mom struggled with her grief and pain over what happened with my sister, but they had a great relationship eventually. Kristen Jensen died in 2020. Thornhill and Tomlinson lost custody of their baby. It was adopted by a foster family and given a new name.